Hi, today we're going to discuss about how to develop a curriculum. Let's first begin by defining what a curriculum is. According to Ralph Taylor, a curriculum is all the learning of students that is planned by and developed by the school in order to achieve its educational goals. In simple terms, we can say that curriculum tells us what to teach, how to teach, when to teach, and what is the impact of teaching. The six major steps in developing a curriculum are: stage one is to conduct a situational needs analysis to identify the needs for developing a curriculum. Stage two is to define the aims of the curriculum. Step three, you can select the relevant content and then organize it. In step four, we formulate the relevant learning outcomes. Stage five, we develop appropriate teaching learning activities. And in the final stage six, we select the effective assessment strategies. In stage one, the situational needs analysis is conducted to identify the needs for developing a curriculum. The needs identification can be done at either the national level, the school level, or the classroom level. At the national level, the needs analysis will take into consideration the national priorities when planning a broad curriculum. But at the school level, the analysis will take into consideration the learners, the content, the physical environment, the teacher's abilities, and the community needs. Step two is to define the aims of the curriculum. The aims will not only include the philosophical aims, but also include the national and community aims, the school aims, as well as the course and curricular aims. Aims are important because they provide direction to improve the quality of education, helps in designing effective instructional learning situations, ensures that there is accountability and manageability in the working plan, and also encourages to review, re-evaluate, and replan instructional situations. Step three is to select the relevant content for the curriculum. During the content selection, we must ensure that content is relevant, realistic, manageable, and accessible. We must also ensure that content helps in realization of the educational aims, that the content promotes the development of not only the cognitive domain, but also the affective and the psychomotor domain. Is the content taking into account the varied needs of the learners and the wider community and nation? Does the content have the right balance of the extent and depth of study? And does the content offer opportunities for learner input and choices? While organizing the content, the three major principles that must be followed are the psychological classification principle, the logical classification principle, and the spiral classification principle. Stage four is the formulation of appropriate learning outcomes. Learning outcomes are very important because they are statements that describe the specific knowledge, understanding, skills, and values that students have obtained by the end of a certain time. We must ensure that the learning outcomes will take into account three domains of learning, that is, the cognitive, affective, and psychomotor domain. We must also ensure that objectives are clear or well defined and are SMART. That is, they're specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time bound. Stage five is to develop appropriate teaching learning strategies. The criteria that we must remember while selecting appropriate instructional strategies is that the selected strategies must align with the learning goals and objectives, must align with the subject content, must take into account the student needs, the community needs, the teacher's ability, her preferences, personal style, and initiative. And all instructional methods can be basically divided, basically classified into three types. One is the lecture method, the other is the discussion method, and the third is the self or the group activity method. The sixth and the final stages of curriculum development is to select effective assessment strategies. Assessment are very important because they give us a highly contextualized understanding about the impact of curriculum and instructional practices on student learning. Evaluation includes the qualitative as well as the quantitative description of learner achievement. The major functions of assessment are to determine the achievement and progress of learners. It's used for diagnostic purposes. It's used for grading and reporting purposes as well. It helps improve instructional practices and to review and replan the curriculum. The seven major methods of assessments are formative assessment, summative assessment, norm-oriented assessment, criteria-oriented assessment, standards reference assessment, pre-assessment, and authentic assessment. Assessment strategies will be effective if they adopt the following criteria. Assessments must be reliable, they must be valid, comprehensive, and individualized. They should provide thorough feedback and opportunities for learner input. They should also encourage further learning. Thank you.